I am feeling blue, and how do you do?
I'm actually relieved that I didn't make this video straight after I shot this material, as I would have embarrassed myself. I almost took the bait and got caught. And talking about bait, that is where it started. I was drawn to the ocean today by these strange spots that I could see from far away. The texture of the water is different, and it appears as if it is boiling in certain parts. What we see here is bait fish that swim in huge schools together. The key to survival here is in the numbers. There is very little space to hide. The bait fish is hunted from below by predator fish species such as Barracuda and so on. The hunters come up from below and force the fish to go to the surface. That is when the water has this boiling effect, as many basically leap out of the water. On a smooth day like today, these spots are painted all over the ocean, and it is very interesting to see how they contract and expand and disappear and reappear and so on. Almost invisible, and quiet in between there are some dolphins that are spoiled for choice.
Now how do I get them to choose my bait? Did you make that pun on purpose?
At the same time, the bait fish are also hunted from the top by the seabirds. The birds float on the water above the fish, or sometimes they dive from the sky down to select what they want. When the bait fish moves over the swell, they break through the surface in a rippling glisten. I was there for quite a while, just looking at this phenomenon, and so much so that I didn't realize what was happening just a little further on. I thought the object in the water was just a rock. It was the peculiar behavior of the dolphins that drew my attention to what was going on. Only then did I realize there was a whale lying there in the shallow water, and it was obviously a mother and a calf, as both were visible.
I'm having a whale of a time.
Now every year from about May onwards, the humpbacks arrive here from Antarctica to mate and to have their calves. They move up north all along the west and east coast of South Africa towards the equator and the warmer waters of the tropics. So I was going to tell you about the humpback whales. I am wrong, however. This was not a humpback. It was a southern right cow and calf. There are not many different whale species in these waters, and the humpbacks are definitely dominant.
Southern. Yeah, that feels right.
Humpback whales have a dorsal fin on their back that hangs a little bit back, almost in the form of a hook. Southern right whales, in contrast, do not have a dorsal fin.
Whoa! These whales get to swim with the dolphins.
In an article in the North Coast Courier of the 1st of July 2015, Mr. Anderson Reeder of the KZN Sharks Board said that we have about 14,500 humpback whales and about 400 southern right whales along the KZN coastline in our winter months. The dolphins completely encircled the whale cow and calf, and they were constantly going down as if to form a barrier, and maybe also out of curiosity. We can just imagine what was going on under the water with all the bait fish and predatory fish around, and it made sense that the whales needed some protection from the nuisance factor. It also appears as if the calf was just born and that it needed a still time with the mum in the shallow water. The dolphins have now moved on. Mum and baby spent some quality time together. Whales are mammals, of course, and a mother has mammary glands, which she uses to squirt milk into the mouths of the calves. The milk is a thick, high-fat substance, and it is intended to build blubber in the calf fast enough so that it can return to the Arctic in the summer months. Most of the southern right whales are normally found around the Western Cape province of South Africa, and the cows are known to come close to shore when they have calves. The area around Hermanus in the Western Cape is a favorite spot, as people often spot them just off the rocks, and viewing is almost guaranteed in the winter months, which is in the middle of the year in South Africa. The shoal of bait fish has moved closer once again, and it is very active. Just look at how the surface breaks every now and then from the attacks from the bottom below. The seagulls are coming for a meal. Watch them swoop down and dive down eventually. The dolphins now said goodbye, and they are swimming northwards. There she blows. Who remember that famous line from Moby Dick?
Man the mastheads! Call all hands!
Next day, I came to watch again and saw the cow and calf swim past Steve's Rock. They were still around the same spot, but they swam into the sea in big loops and returned. Obviously, so that the calf can get stronger and fitter. Look carefully and you will spot the calf clearly. The whales breathe by inhaling air into the blowholes that are on top of their heads and then blows it out again in a cloud of vapor. The vapor is the first thing that you should look for when you do whale spotting at the ocean's edge, especially with elusive humpbacks. Humpbacks often lay quietly in deeper water, and when the water is slightly restless, it is not easy to spot them, except for when they blow vapor.
Oh, shame, man. So cute.
On a swim past, we see clearly that the cow does not have a dorsal fin. I honestly only noticed it when I looked at the footage afterwards. I really thought it was a humpback. Editor Bruce Stevenson of the North Coast Courier also reported that they saw a southern right whale and calf on Saturday the 15th at Salt Rock Beach, which is about 2 kilometers south from here. That is the same day that I took the footage of the swim past, but I spotted her on Friday with the dolphins. In my opinion, she probably just calved then, because I thought that would explain the behavior of the dolphins. The North Coast Courier again reported that on Monday the 21st of September, a southern right whale calf became trapped in the shark nets at Thompson's Bay. As we really do not have many of the whales around, I'm almost convinced that it is the same calf that we were looking at here. Luckily, it was successfully freed by the KZN Sharks board.
Remember to subscribe.
Hi there everybody. I go to places and tell stories of what I've seen. I tell them here. Take it on the rocks, Chris on the rocks. Collaboration is the name of the game for any vlogger. Many hours go into this. Give us your inputs and subscribe please. Subscriptions makes this possible. We fade without them. We bloom and impress with support. Please like my videos and please share it to friends. Soon to follow will be regular postings on ship salvaging coming from my huge stock of video material that I've collected over 2 years. Many stories to tell. Also about the beauty of the world I live in. Meditations in nature my style. Work together. This is going to be fun for all of us. Sometimes opinions as well. Views of the world. It will all be there. I want to show you my world as it is and I hope it will be funny as well. In time I want to have a one-size-fits-it-all channel.